Hey guys, welcome back to Embers and Ash. My name's Ashley, if you didn't know, and today we are doing a Q&A all about my pregnancy. You guys had a lot of questions, which is fair because I didn't really expand on a lot in the pregnancy announcement video. If I don't answer your questions today, it's probably because I've touched on it in my podcast, Mother in the Making, so go check that one out. But there's still a lot of questions that I am going to be answering today, and before we get into it, I want to thank today's sponsor, BetterHelp. In 2022, I am setting a very important mental health goal of prioritizing my relationships with friends and family. I found that I can focus too much on work and my home and not enough time with people, and that really does deteriorate my mental health. So I'm really trying to reach out to others and make sure I'm prioritizing that in this year to come, and that's where BetterHelp comes in. If you haven't heard me talk about them before, they are an online counseling service that provides a platform for clients to be matched up with professional counselors. They have a network of over 20,000 licensed therapists that have helped over 2 million people. BetterHelp will assess your needs through an online quiz and then match you up with a therapist that is best fit for you. But if for some reason they aren't meeting your specific needs, you can always change your therapist at any time for free. It is not a crisis line, it is not self-help, it's professional counseling done securely online. One of the things I love about BetterHelp is that it's so accessible to everyone. It's available worldwide, and you can get matched up within 48 hours as opposed to trying to go in person to find a counselor, which can take weeks of your time. Some of the perks include being able to message your therapist at any time, also setting up your video or phone call sessions around your schedule, whatever works for you. As well, they are more affordable than traditional in-person therapy, and they have financial aid if you need it. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today, so if you're interested, check out the link in the description. It's betterhelp.com/embersandash. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. And you can join over 2 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Also, if you use this link, you will get 10% off your first month. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to your questions. Okay, first question. Was it intentional or did it just happen? So I feel like I touched on this multiple times in that last video and in the podcast, but we stopped preventing pregnancy in hopes that it would take a while to get pregnant because it took a while last time and it happened basically immediately. So it was very much a shock, and it feels like it was planned but not planned. How far apart will Brooke and baby number 2 be? They're going to be 20, how many months is that? 25 months? Yeah, because the baby's due in August and Brooke's birthday is July. So they're going to be basically 2 years apart, which is really nice. Like, that is, for our family, the ideal age gap. Me and my sister are 18 months apart, which I was not about to get pregnant with a 9-month-old, but I liked having that closer age range growing up, so I'm excited to offer that to my kids. How are you doing mentally with pregnancy number 2? Not very good, which is why I was really excited to have BetterHelp as a sponsor for this video, in case other people are going through what I'm going through. I really did not think that I would have such a hard time with this pregnancy. Like, when we stopped preventing pregnancy, I knew I wasn't mentally ready, but I thought I would just get there once we got pregnant, and that wasn't the case. I've been spending the past few weeks really trying to process it and finding ways to not necessarily be excited, but just accept it and see the positive in things. But it's been really hard, especially with Rook being at an age that's very difficult. It could be quite discouraging, but I know that he's going to be a whole other kid by the time he's 2, and hopefully that'll bring some perks that will help with everything. But either way, I know it's going to be really tough. How did you decide to want another child? So it really was just looking at Rook and wanting a sibling for him and a sibling close in age. It would have been fine if the kids were 3 years apart, even 4 years apart, but I didn't want to take the risk of infertility second time around, so that's why we stopped preventing and really did not expect it to happen. yeah, it was really just because we wanted Rook to have a sibling. That's why. Are you nervous about what it's going to be like having a newborn and toddler at the same time? Yes, that is my nightmare. Every night I dream about this. Not actually, but that's my biggest fear, is how am I supposed to deal with a newborn and a toddler? And I think I'm not going to deal with it well. But then I look forward to like a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old and how much fun they're going to have together. And that's comforting to me. And I just need to get through the early years with them together. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard. Like, I feel like I manage pretty well with a toddler. You know, it's one kid. Toddlers are tough, but it's one kid. Adding a newborn into it is gonna be a lot. Now, Rook was a pretty good newborn, but either way, like, you're not sleeping. Whether you have a good newborn or a more difficult newborn, you're not sleeping, so it's not a good time. Is it hard looking after Rook while being sick, like making meals if food makes you nauseous, etc.? Yeah, it's been a really tough season. I'm thankful that I haven't puked yet and that I don't have insane nausea. Again, I go in depth about this in the podcast, but it's been really hard, especially my fatigue is so much worse this time around. Like, I don't remember ever being tired my first pregnancy, and I don't think I ever took a nap unless it was like randomly. But now it's like the other day I took a 3-hour nap while Rook took a 3-hour nap, and I was still tired after that. So it's been hard, and I'm just trying to like get through it. Will you find out the gender? Great question. No. Last time we didn't find out the gender, and it was the best. Like, I'm sure giving birth is fun with knowing the gender, but for us, it was so special finding out that day. It was like the best part of birth. And I had such a good birth last time. You can watch my birth story if you're interested. But I had an epidural, so I was laughing the whole time. Except pushing was really hard. But yeah, especially because we really wanted a boy and we got a boy, so that made it really special. I don't know how hard it would be if I really wanted one gender and got the other. Like, if we had a girl, it would have been great too. It just, we have personal reasons for wanting a boy first, and it was really fun fulfilling that and having Josh like announce the gender to me too. That was really special. But I feel like if you have a huge gender preference, you might be better off finding out ahead of time so that you get time to like cope if it's not the gender you want. But yeah, loved finding out day of. Are you worried about being pregnant in the pandemic? No, I was last time and it was fine. Like, if they change the rules that we can't see anyone, then yeah, that's horrible. But right now with vaccination rates, I think we're still gonna be able to gather in small groups. So it'll be fine. Like, I really liked not having visitors at the hospital because I could be like half naked and not have to worry about it. But the loneliness afterwards was annoying. How far along are you? Well, right now I'm 9 weeks, but next week when you see this, I will be 10 weeks. Oh, do you want to see my bump? So on Instagram, I did a little reel showing my bump, and that was like after a meal and with me like pushing it out so I can make it obvious. So it's not as big as that, but I definitely have a bump. It's crazy how quick it happens. This is my bump. Can you see it? It's like kind of there. Like, it's definitely there, but it's not super obvious. How did Josh react? Kind of the same as me, of shock. And he just kept saying like, this is gonna be good, it's gonna be good for us, it's gonna be good for Rook, like trying to convince himself that it was fine, but we were both pretty scared. Are you nervous now to have 2 kids in reference to independence? Absolutely. Again, I touch on this in the podcast, but I am very scared to lose what little freedoms I have right now. I don't know if Rook is crazy like my daughter who likes to bounce on me, but how would you deal? Yeah, Rook is a bit of a crazy child. And he loves to bounce on me and run around all day, and it's hard to deal. Like, I am planning on baby-proofing my house even more and getting rid of what little freedoms he had for the dangerous things, because I can't manage it when I'm like low energy and sick. I need to just survive right now. And yeah, I don't know how people don't baby proof their house. What is your due date? I can't believe I didn't mention this. It is August 8th. I haven't had a dating ultrasound yet, so that's just based on my period or whatever. So I'll have an updated one soon, but that's what we have right now. Are you worried you'll outgrow your home now with 2 babies? I had a couple people ask this as well, and not at all. Like, there is plenty of room in this house for 2 kids, especially if they're going to be the same gender. We could stay in this house forever, basically. If we have a boy and a girl, then eventually we're going to want 2 rooms for them. But even if we had a house with 3 bedrooms, so 1 for Josh and I and 2 for the kids, I would still put the kids together until they were like 10, and then have the other room as like a playroom or an office or something. I feel like that dynamic will work really well for us. Yeah, plenty of space. What made you take a pregnancy test? That's funny. So I was sitting on the couch scrolling through YouTube, and I saw Milena Ciciotti post her pregnancy announcement, and I didn't watch it, but I just thought like, oh, it's the end of my cycle, maybe I should go check, because I knew we weren't preventing anymore. I was going to be checking every month just to see. And yeah, so that's why I did it, and didn't think anything of it. Are you hoping for a certain gender? Yeah, so I would like another boy, because I love the idea of 2 boys growing up together and like beating each other up and getting into trouble and getting into adventures together. Not that you can't have that with girls, but I just like the thought of that dynamic. But immediately when I found out I was pregnant, my first thought was associating the baby with a girl. I don't think that means anything, but I keep thinking of the baby as a girl, which is weird to me. And, you know, if we only do have 2 kids, it would be nice to have a girl. So, I don't know. I have pros and cons each way. I'm fine either way. Yeah. Where will the baby sleep? So, baby will sleep in a bassinet in our room. I'm assuming for 3 months, just because that's what we did with Rook. But if the baby has a harder time sleeping through the night, they'll probably stay in our room for longer, and then moved into Rook's bedroom. Or I guess their bedroom. Okay, I got the last question here. What kind of birth are you hoping for? I would love, absolutely love, the same birth as last time. I labored until, like, without medication until I was 6 centimeters dilated, which it is kind of nice getting to feel what's going on, but also it doesn't feel good. So then I got the epidural, which was amazing, just chilling, hanging out. It did slow down my labor. It was fine. I would rather not feel it and have it a bit slower. Pushed for 2.5 hours. I would rather that not be so long this time. But other than that, it was perfect. I loved every second of it. I didn't want to leave the hospital. It was so beautiful. And I'm really hoping for something along those lines this time. Really, I would, if I had to pick one thing, I just don't want a C-section. Just because the recovery is so tough, I would prefer not to, but you never know what's gonna happen. So yeah, I am 100% team epidural. Loved it. So yeah, those were all the questions, or all the questions that I decided to answer. Again, check out my podcast, Mother in the Making, if you have more questions that might be answered over there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.